Ba-dun dun 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 do 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 do. Ba-dun dun 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 do 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 do. Greeting interwebs, it's Jackie K, and welcome for another edition of the KayCast. Sorry for not having my Amiibo Pokemon non-Sun and Moon KayCast last week. There's just so much news last week for Sun and Moon that I just felt better focusing on that rather than doing both. And I think I'll stick to that from now on. Major Pokemon news stories will pretty much take up a whole KayCast on itself. With that said, I got a lot to catch up on because of the focus on Sun and Moon. So let's get right into it. For one, online plans will consist of Chippy Robo Ziplash going up this week. Although next week I'll have to focus on an Amiibo specialized version of Chippy Robo Ziplash. It's a project that I've wanted to do for a while and it's just about done. And besides that, I don't really have anything new recorded for Chippy Robo Ziplash besides that. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get the recording for that taken care of by the time those two videos go up. There'll also be an Amiibo speed paint going up this week. You may have noticed last week I put up the speed paint of my Machamp Amiibo, and I think it's only fitting to do the speed paint for my Teddy Amiibo next week. I'll see if I got the time to work on cosplay convention videos in between, but I'll play that by ear. As for what I've been up to, well, besides the walking that I've been doing like usual, and taking care of adult things, I have been thinking about politics, but I've made specific notes not to go into it more than that. Election time is coming up over in the good old USA, and the bell is beginning to take its toll, or I forget how the saying goes. What's kind of interesting though, last night I just had a sudden urge to go back to some of my old playthroughs. Basically, I was working on trying to get a highlight of the best video editing I've done in the past few years. So once I looked at one video, I got the urge to look at another and another and another. Giving myself quite a nostalgia trip for Golden Sun. If you haven't checked out my Golden Sun or Golden Sun Lost Age LP over on YouTube and that, I would recommend it. It's an older LP, the age shows a little bit, but still one of my prouder LPs. I put a lot of work into it back in the day. And I do got projects like Yellow vs. Leaf Green that have similar amounts of editing effort, but the way my time was back then, I really felt like I put a lot more into that LP than I am even doing with this comparative series. And speaking of, it's no longer dead. Over the past week, I've done quite an extensive amount of work editing the next episode of Yellow vs. Leaf Green. All the scripting's done, and I even got everything commentated. I might want to listen to it over a couple more times before I upload it though, and just make sure everything is polished. But I'd be very surprised if that wasn't up within the next couple weeks. I just didn't include it in the YouTube plans because I don't want to put a tentative date on it until I'm positive that it's ready to go. Now, I haven't played anything new, mostly just because I am focusing on trying to beat Pokemon Blue. Between the past couple weeks, I decided to set a goal to try to beat as many Pokemon games as I can before Sun and Moon come out. I really came into that whole Pokemon Marathon party late though, so I doubt I'll be able to get through every single Pokemon game, but I can give it the good old college try. So since I'm trying to breeze through this game as quick as I can, I actually did the Pokédolls glitch to skip past the one area of the Pokemon Tower. Got the Pokeflute there, drove down the cycling road and made my way to Fuchsia, picking up the Strength and Surf TMs last night. Still have to beat the gym before I can get to Cinnabar Island and truly break the game. Yeah, I do intend to use a missing known glitch, though I'm gonna be generous and not use it to level unless I feel I really need to. For example, I got a Lapras from Silphco, and it's level frickin' 15 in an area where all my Pokemon are at least level 30. Thankfully, I do have some areas I can go back to and raise it up, considering I did skip all of the game corner, minus going far enough into it to get the double-edged TM, which I really want to use, but I should wait until I can use a mission known glitch to duplicate that and nuggets, because there's some good stuff I want to get from the game corner, but I am not doing the gambling game. I spent a good hour on it, and even with save states, I only was able to up the number of coins I had by maybe 50 or so. So I'm gonna wait until I can just duplicate a bunch of nuggets, sell them, and buy enough coins to just get the Porygon and maybe the TM myself. As for team, I believe my team now is currently that Lapras. I'm using a Mew via the Mew glitch. I'm using a Victory Bell, Sandslash, and I'm using a lot of Pokemon that I've never really used in a Pokemon playthrough before, so that's probably why I can't remember them. Oh yeah, also a Vulpix, and good lord, I'm gonna feel dumb when I remember what that 6th one was. I'm not using my starter. I was originally planning on using it, but then I got the idea of using the Lapras instead. So I might use... Oh yeah, I think I'll just use that starter as a HM slave, sort of, but not really, for Surf and Strength. That's probably where the rare candies are going to come in, because I'm not really going to use it for battling unless I need the type coverage. I'll just level it up with rare candies along the way. Let me go through my team one more time and see if I can remember that last party member though. So I have Lapras, Victory Bell, Vulpix, Mew, Sandslash, oh yeah, and Raticate. Yeah, I feel really dumb for not remembering that. The Raticate's probably the oldest Pokemon that I still have in the party, not including the Ward Turtle when I actually go back to using it for areas that I need Surf and Strength for. But oh boy, I went on that tangent longer than planning. Why don't I go into the stuff you guys might be more interested in? Onwards with Pokemon Go things. Well, as bad as I feel about skipping the Pokemon Go and Amiibo talk for this week, or should I say the past week, if I had to choose between that and talking about Sun and Moon, I'm glad I went with Sun and Moon, because a lot of these news and features that I'm going to bring up have been implemented into Pokemon Go as I'm recording this, but not when they were first announced. Before I go into features, I do want to bring up that Pokemon Go has gone to a bunch of new countries in between the last time we talked about Pokemon Go and now. 6 new countries on the 30th of September, and 31 new countries and territories on the 4th of October. If you want to know more details of which countries these are, I would encourage you to go to http://pokemongo.niagaraLabs.com and look up their blog section. There's just way too many for me to list, and I probably mispronounced half of them. As for new features that are going to be affecting all players, I do gotta be honest. Despite playing Pokemon Go and this update supposedly happening, I have yet to notice these. They are kind of subtle changes that you don't really notice unless you're actually active in the gyms. And while I did challenge a couple gyms, I have not challenged a gym of my own color yet. So I'm not positively gone through. My phone just updated to a new version of Pokemon Go this morning, as well, so I'm not sure if that was the update or it was a minor bug fix. Regardless, coming soon, or already existing but I'm dumb, are two features. One is a catch bonus, and it will be making use of the medal system that is in the past only useful for a sense of achievement. If you've been playing Pokemon Go as actively as I have, you may have noticed that you occasionally get medals as you do various tasks in the game, whether it be catch a certain number of Pokemon of the same type, hatch a certain number of eggs, battle in gyms, etc. Well, not all these medals are going to be giving you an in-game use now. The ones that revolve around a certain type, for example, catching a bunch of grass types will earn you a Gardener medal. Now, when you have a Gardener medal, your odds of catching Pokemon of the grass type will increase. If you got the Gardener Bronze medal, it'll go up so much. If you get that to a Silver medal, your odds will go up even more. And same thing with Gold. And this applies to each of the types of Pokemon. They all have their own medals you can earn, and they're going to be able to allow you to catch Pokemon easier. Anything that allows me to catch Pokemon easier is a welcome addition to me. Especially when using the Pokemon Go Plus, and just the heartbreak of seeing so many Pidgeys and Rattatas break away because you only get to throw one ball at them when you're using the Go Plus. It's not the hugest thing in the world, but it's a welcome change. The other change very well could be a drastic change to the gameplay. In the past, when you were going to a gym of the same color, for example, you being on the yellow team, aka Team Instinct, and you challenge a yellow gym, you could only send one Pokemon, no matter if they have 2 Pokemon in the gym or a full gym team of 10. With the new change though, you'll be able to send a full party of 6. And that's only the beginning. Furthermore, if a Pokemon's team in the gym is drastically higher than yours, they'll be temporarily debuffed. So it'll be closer to the level of your party members. So you actually have a fair shot at boosting up prestige. In my opinion, this is a very welcome change. Because I don't remember, but I feel like I've talked about in the past of struggling to try to actually make an impact on a gym that's my color because I couldn't get past a few of the first Pokemon. Granted, I've gotten a lot stronger in the game since then, but I still had a tendency to prefer taking out an opposing gym team than to try to raise my team up enough to put a Pokemon in. This will definitely change that, and for that alone, it's a welcome addition. However, I have been listening to like-minded Pokemon fanatics, and they brought up a good counterpoint that I wish to share with you guys. Apparently in the community, there's been a lot of complaints in regards to high-level gyms. Gyms that people would constantly keep all the way up at level 10 through a group of their posse or whatever. So no opposing gym could take them down, and gyms of the same color couldn't really get a chance to put their Pokemon in because it was already maxed out in number of Pokemon that could be in the gym. Since this makes raising your own gym a lot easier, it only makes sense that this will be more current. And during the time I actually was able to get to a populated area over the past couple days, and I have noticed that a lot of the gyms were level 10. But it's been a long time since I've been out, so it's just a good chance that those areas were always high level, and I just didn't notice because it's been so long since I've been out there. I won't deny that could possibly be contributing to it though. I'll have to actually get more involved in the gym, which I'll be doing again once I actually go for my next evolution spree. But currently the Pokemon have gotten a lot higher than my current team, and I was running pretty low on revives, so a lot of my strong hitters were out of the picture. But since I've gone for walks a bit more lately, been able to stock up my pile of revives, that should change, and I'll keep you guys updated on my gym progress. Speaking of personal progress, how about I go into the progress I made the past couple weeks in Pokemon Go? I've been staying away from gyms this week, more so just because as I said, my personal pile of revives are a bit low, and I really wanted to restock before going to any gyms. They just seemed a bit more intimidating the past couple weeks. But that doesn't mean that I haven't made anything worth noting about in the game. For one, on a walk actually not too long after the last KayCast, but I unfortunately wasn't able to talk about, I was driving out to go for my walk, just getting out of the car, and I noticed a familiar silhouette. A big Pokemon silhouette. I saw it, but I was thinking, nah, I wouldn't be running into it. And as soon as I step out, that mother truckin' Dragonite just comes right out, says, "Hello! How are you?" So I get out, go after it. Screw the fact that I had to go plus that up and I would have to turn it back on. I am catching this Dragonite. I go to it, and it has a 45 CP. But screw it. I haven't ran into any Dragonairs or Dratini's. This might be my only chance to get a Dragon Pokemon in a good long time. So I pulled out the Ultra Balls I had in stock, flicking my thumb at this darn dragon. When I wasn't missing because of my confidence in sliding my thumb up in a straight line, it was bringing out the freaking Ultra Balls. But I caught it. The Pokedex page got filled, and it's just been sitting on my phone ever since. I can't find it in my heart to release it, because it is my first Dragonite. And yet, because of that 45 CP, I'll probably never use it for battles in my life. I'm still proud of the fact that I got it, though. It filled up a page in the Pokedex. Unfortunately, breed doesn't work in a way that if you have a higher level Pokemon, you can't just hatch an egg of the pre-evolution. That's a bit disappointing. So I don't know when I'm ever going to get the pages for Dratini and Dragonair. But hey, at least I have a Dragonite. Oh my god, people are going to hate me, but I actually like Dragonair more than Dragonite. It couldn't have been a Dragonair. It had to be that Dragonite. And I would have sucked it up if it was actually a decent CP. But it wasn't. Still, I'm just poking fun at this. I was pretty happy and amazed at the time that I even found the Dragonite, let alone caught it. And at the end of that same walk, just as I was about to get back in the car, my egg hatched and I got my first Cubone. So that was a pretty good walk. Sometime later, I hatched a Grimer out of the egg. So I got that entry in the Pokedex now. That reminds me, there's some things about the Go Plus that I had to correct myself on. For one, it does actually use up Pokeballs. I guess I've just had such a large surplus of Pokeballs that I've never noticed. So you can't catch Pokemon if you don't already have Pokeballs. Missed opportunity if I say so myself, but it's a thing. I've read mixed reports of if it uses exclusively Pokeballs, and some reports that say that it'll use a Great Ball if it just has a general lower odd of being caught. So I'm not sure which it is. I haven't really been keeping close enough track of my Pokeballs between using Go Plus and after, especially since a lot more lately I've been turning my phone on during a walk with the Go Plus because I was getting sick and tired of Pokemon running away from me. And I just wanted to assure that there were some Pokemon that I guaranteed to catch. Plus, it is a part of the game, and I've noticed that more the more I've been using the Go Plus as a feature of the game that I miss not playing. Let's see, so there's the Pokeballs. I've been hearing mixed reports on if the Go Plus will actually allow you to catch new Pokemon or not. And I can confirm that it will let you catch new Pokemon. That Dragonite, technically I had to Go Plus on, even though I engaged in it through normal phone means. However, there was another case where I actually caught a Pokemon I didn't have before, using exclusively the Go Plus. And that was actually just yesterday. So I was going out for an appointment. I finished up an appointment, gonna start driving home, when I figured I got here way too quickly. Why don't I walk around the block and see if I find anything? So while I had my phone up on occasions, most of the time it was turned off in my pocket and I was just using the Go Plus. I catch a few Pokemon, pull up my phone, check the journal. There's a Haunter just casually marked in my journal as caught with a CP of, I believe, 15. It was definitely no higher than 20, but still, I have a Haunter, and that's a Pokemon I didn't have in my Pokedex before. So that myth has been busted. Speaking of said walk, when I got back from that, drove in my car, started to head back, I noticed I was actually driving by the Niagara Falls State Park, so it's an area I really wanted to go to, especially when I went there around that area for Fan World. It was a pretty good Pokemon Go area, so I decided to find a place to park and walk around the park. It's a really pleasant walk. I actually ended up walking there for a whole hour when I was originally only planning on going for half an hour or so. Besides taking the sights, letting a little of the mist hit my face, I had quite the Pokemon excursion. I ran into a couple Doduals, some water Pokemon including a Staryu. Unfortunately, there was a Krabby that I let get away because I used the Go Plus to try and catch it. A bunch of other birds, like your typical Pidgeys and Sparrows, and a few bug Pokemon like Weedles and Venonats. But it was a really nice walk, and if I could get out to that area more, I definitely walk around there more often. Unfortunately though, because it's such a popular area, because on top of being in the city, it's a tourist attraction as well. The gyms were packed tight. There's no way that I was going to be able to knock out. I couldn't find any gyms of my color, because I am on the minority team. And all the opposing gyms were so high in level that even if I could battle Pokemon, it would probably take me an hour just to knock it out and replace it with my own color. And that was not the point of walking. The point of going out to that area was to actually walk. Plus, I didn't have the revives to do so. Otherwise, I might have attempted. Because I did have a nice view of the whole falls, while I was stationed in front of one of the gyms trying to do battles in there. I'll have to keep that in mind in the future though. Before I go into the Amiibo topic though, I wanted to say something for any of the Pokemon viewers before they tune out. I do want to cover a little bit of Sun and Moon news that has happened in between the week. There's actually something I missed despite spending all last week dedicating myself to it. But I'm going to save it for the very end so people who want to listen to the full KayCast don't get spoiled. So you can either skip around until you find where I start talking about that, probably within the last 5 minutes or so. Or if that doesn't interest you and you don't want to hear about Amiibo stuff, do as you please. With that out of the way though, onwards to the Amiibo news. So the first thing I got here is that GameStop put up pre-orders for the Zelda and Mario amiibos that are coming out in November. I did just double check the Mario set as I'm recording this KayCast, and those amiibos are still up for pre-order. So if you weren't able to get them at Amazon, this is probably your best bet, even though I'm not a fan of their whole shipping system anyways. It's not bad, but compared to Amazon where you can get free shipping, it's not my cup of tea. Although, if I actually had the money saved up for the amiibos I want, I probably would pre-order them that way. I'm only acting so reluctant because that was where I got the Pokemon Go Plus. And I'm still a little salty over paying for the shipping when I'm so used to getting free shipping elsewhere. I'm just the type of person that doesn't mind waiting a little extra longer if it means I don't have to pay for the shipping. But also on pre-orders, we have the Palutena amiibo, which is going to be Toys R Us exclusive. There's an announcement of that being Toys R Us exclusive. But if you go to their site, they should have a place for you to pre-order it as well. Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo cards are now available for pre-order on Best Buy. And this last one isn't exactly news, but I do want to discuss it because I'm fairly confident in this, let's just call it a rumor to be on the safe side. So over on the Amiibo Reddit, one of the posters posted a screenshot for Mario Party Star Rush, and it's showcasing Bowser Jr. in his non-traditional Smash Bros. Pose. Does this seem familiar? Well, not to steal credit from the poster themselves, because they're the ones that made the original claim that this could mean another series of Mario Party amiibos in the future. I do want to add my support to that, because this has happened before. In Mario Party 10, there were some characters that didn't have a Mario series amiibo. However, since they had a Smash Bros. Amiibo, you could scan them in. Wario and Rosalina are the main ones coming to mind. And when you scan them in, they weren't shown in a Smash Bros. Pose. They were shown in the Mario series pose. The same one that these new Wario and Rosalina amiibos are going to be in once they're released. So through pattern recognition, I can say fairly confidently that we are going to be getting a Bowser Jr. amiibo sometime in the future. We'll probably be waiting a long time before that's the case, but you heard it here first. Unless you actually read it on the Reddit post. Then you saw it there first. Unless you went to the original source that had the screenshot, then you saw it there first. But I'm getting beyond my point. Now that I exhausted all the news, I want to talk a little bit about custom amiibos. As for my own personal progress, I'm not sure if I really have much to share, but I will share what I can. I have been working on the paintings for 2 amiibos, but I want to keep one of them under the wraps. It's a surprise, and I'll explain why once I'm ready to reveal it. But for the other one, I had a desire to actually do a Banjo-Kazooie theme for Duck Hunt a while back, and since I found a Duck Hunt amiibo used at GameStop, I decided to pick it up, make sure that it still worked, and did a custom of that. This will be one I'm definitely going to sell on my page once I get it up, because that's the original reason I was going with the Duck Hunt theme, because I assumed that was the color pattern that would be most popular with amiibo fans. It's been a bit of a struggle to actually get it as good as I like, and I'll have to clean up a bit afterwards, but I'm pretty impressed that I was actually able to get a color paint that matched fairly well. It might have been a little darker than I should have gone, but I'll definitely take it. Took quite a bit of mixing to actually get it right, and I'm just trying to plastic wrap the paint so if I realize I missed a spot later I can clean it up. I really hope that it doesn't come down to the situation where my paint dries up after I realize that there's an area that needs to be cleaned up with that color, because I will be in a very bad situation if that's the case. But that's coming along great. For those of you who don't know, I do have a store Ivy account. Sorry, even though I've had it for so long, I'm still struggling to remember the name. But if you are interested in getting the Amiibos, including this Duck Hunt one when it's done, I encourage you to check out that Stored Ivy account. I'll have a link to it over if you're watching this on YouTube. Otherwise, I believe it's jacketkay.storedivy.com. But enough talking about me. Why don't I talk about other people who've been in the customs this week? Now, I actually expanded my search for custom Amiibos a lot between the last couple weeks and now, and oh boy, there's so many that I want to talk about, but I decided to narrow it down to 4. I should have narrowed it down to 3, but this one I came across last minute, I just couldn't help but share. This first one is fairly simple, but I still thought it would be worth noting anyways. It is a Sonic Amiibo that was redesigned. I don't know if it was remolded at all, but it was repainted, scarf added to look like the Sonic Boom Sonic. Not everyone's appeal, but if you're a fan of Sonic Boom, I would recommend checking it out. It was made by Zero J, spelled XERO-J. And looks like he even did the box art for it as well. So well done, Zero. Well done. Next Amiibo I want to talk about was a redesign of the Wii Fit trainer. It is a Wii Fit Shell Portal custom Amiibo, and even comes with its own companion cube. It's one of those designs that you don't think of until you see it, and then it's like, oh, that's obvious. Why didn't I think of making a Wii Fit trainer into a Shell Amiibo? You could tell that they didn't really even change the model much at all. It still looks like the Wii Fit trainer pose, but it's colored to look more like Shell from Portal. I can relate a lot to it because it fits my personal art style of, instead of 3D printing or completely remolding an Amiibo, you work with the model you have to make something entirely new. Plus, this whole companion cube looks really cute, so I recommend checking it out. I'll have a link to the DeviantArt page listed now, but I'll also list the store, the SD.com account, because she's actually selling this Amiibo on her store account. So if you like this Amiibo that you see, you can actually buy it right now. Next, I have a custom Amiibo in front of my screen. I believe done by Zarna Kidi. Let me try that again. My throat is getting a bit dry. Xanark and Sky. And if you miss some of the Brawl players, you will love this custom. It is a Wolf O'Donnell Fox Amiibo. But oh man, just at a quick glance, you would not recognize this as Fox McCloud. This really goes extra mile with all the details from Wolf and really brings it into this custom. Gotta give major props to you now. I do not think I'd be able to do an Amiibo of this caliber, and if I could, it would take a lot of time and maybe even better tools than I already have. I mean, like, he even has a reflector on the back of it. This shot really shows it from all the angles. He's got the glasses that Wolf has, and if you're listening to this instead of watching this, I really encourage you to go look up Xanark and Sky right now. Maybe you'd be able to find it if you search Wolf Amiibo. I was able to find it on the Amiibo Reddit, I believe, so you might have luck looking for custom Amiibos on there. But check out this Wolf Amiibo. it is incredible. Just so many details. Bravo, sir, bravo. Last but not least is a custom by an artist who was inevitably going to be showing up on the custom Amiibo feature one way or another, due to how closely I follow her work. That's right, Grounded Chris has an Amiibo that I want to talk about. Big shock. This one was actually from about a week ago, but unfortunately I wasn't talking about Amiibos a week ago. And it is of the Ash Greninja. That's right, it's an Ash Greninja Amiibo. I can only assume that it's based off the original Greninja Amiibo, but it's definitely been reworked bottom up, if very loosely based on the parts from the original Amiibo. Because it's actually standing like Ash Greninja, it has the whole shuriken on the back, it really looks like it could be an alt that they sell at Amiibo stores, but that's just her general quality. So if you're interested in taking a look at this Amiibo yourself, I would highly encourage you to check out Grounded Chris, with her Twitter handle being Miss Grounded Chris. Chris being spelled the K-R-I-S. No, let me just spell the whole thing. Miss G-A-N-D-A-K-R-I-S. And from there you can find other accounts that she runs, including her Instagram, Twitch. She also has a Store Envy account. For those of you who don't know, she's actually the one who pretty much pushed me between deciding between SD, where a lot of people use, and Store Envy. I believe that's under Grounded Chris or Miss Grounded Chris as well. But if you like custom Amiibos and aren't already checking out her work, I encourage you to take another look at it, because I'm always impressed by the stuff that she does. Just putting focus on this Greninja, because it's probably the most topical. Speaking of topical, like I said, I do want to cover just one piece of Pokemon Sun and Moon info that I overlooked. So this is your spoiler warning now. If you're trying to avoid any sort of information on Pokemon Sun and Moon, to keep the game as fresh as possible going into it for yourself, I would encourage you to stop watching the video here. So on the off chance you're leaving now, I've been Jackie K. If you enjoyed what you watched, be sure to like it on where you're watching it from. I do like the likes. It shows your appreciation, and I appreciate that. If you want to follow me on social media pages for exclusively updates, I recommend my Facebook page of Jackie K LPs. If you don't mind me talk about miscellaneous stuff of all sorts of levels of maturity, and even of things like Sun and Moon, funny memes I find, whether they be spoilers or not, you can follow me on my Twitter at JacketStuff. I'll do the other social media pages I have at the end, but if you are gonna stop watching this, if you go to my YouTube page, you should be able to find some of the links to my art pages. Feel free to ask if you're curious on anything else. So, once upon a time, I was being an innocent little boy, going through my Twitter feed, not expecting any spoilers, and people have started a meme with Mimikyu glowing like it was doing a Z move, with the sub-caption of Never Ending Nightmare, using it to describe all their inner turmoil throughout their societal lives. I can't blame them, because that's a good meme, but yeah, that was spoiled, because apparently that was only in there for a brief second in the Europe Sun and Moon trailer. And I'm pretty sure that went up a couple days after the Sun and Moon trailer I watched for the US side. So yay! The guy who's talking extensively about Sun and Moon got spoiled on something. I am just in an awkward taco boat with that, because I'm just at the point, yes, I am talking about Sun and Moon, but I do want to, I don't want to be too spoiled either, and I just keep going back and forth. For those of you who haven't watched the trailer, there were a lot of hints to new Z moves. from Pokemon that include Beware and Mimikyu. Those two being the ones that actually had specifically named Z moves. The others were just shown in a Z move animation. A lot of people are jumping on the gun to say that these are the Z moves of Beware and Mimikyu. I do have to bring up a counterpoint though. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but real early on when they first introduced Z moves, they mentioned that there would be a Z move of each type of Pokemon. During that time, they brought up the Z move for Fire, Water, and Grass types, using each of the starters pulling off the move. However, I think we also seen the Electric type move. I'm very certain though, we have not seen the Z move for Ghost or Fighting type. And what do you know, Mimikyu is a Ghost type move, or Ghost type Pokemon. Never Ending Nightmare. While I could see it as Mimikyu's signature move, I could also see it as just a standard Ghost Z move. As for Beware's, I believe that's the Fighting type. Beware is Fighting normal if I recall. And All Out Attack is the name of the Z move. That very well sounds like something that could be a Fighting type Z move for any Pokemon of the Fighting type. So we're going to have to wait and find out more about the Z moves before we can say for certain if they're the signature moves of Mimikyu and Beware, as opposed to just the generic Ghost and Fighting Z move. Either way, really cool to see. Really would like to see the move more, because I don't even think we really got to see the full animation of the move, despite all the talk about it. That's all I got for this weekend, the KayCast though. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you do, please like this on YouTube or whatever form you're listening to this to. Things like liking on Podbeam. If I ever do get this up on iTunes, leaving a review on there would be greatly appreciated. That is something I am considering. I just don't know how much of a process that's going to be. I'll keep you guys updated when I go through with that though. And speaking of updates, if you want to follow me on social media, you have quite an extensive list of ways to do so. My general Twitter is Jackie K, but be warned, I post a lot more than just updates on there. I will make general comments, memes, even of things like Sun and Moon, so if that doesn't scare you off, you can go to @JacketStuff for that. If you prefer just to stick around for video updates, I encourage you to follow me on Facebook under JacketKLPs. If you're interested in my art, there's several ways to follow me depending on what social media you use. For Facebook, I have a separate page for art called Jackie K, spelled JACKITKAY. That's also the handle for my Instagram account, if you prefer that. Over on DeviantArt, I go under Jackie K, spelled JACKITK. And I talked about Store Ivy already, but if you want to support my artistic work by buying some of my stuff, I recommend going to jacketk.storeandivy.com. I don't think I'm leaving any links under the bushes. I'm sure they'll cut their way out if they are. Legend of Zelda joke there. With all that said, I'll see you all next week for the next KayCast. Kay?